because they're.
We can be like this. I don't have to do
You don't
this.
have to eat it as much.
I love that.
So what probably ish here is a good distance, but not back here.
Right.
And I just get the echo.
Yeah,
Right.
you don't want echo.
So right about here.
Yeah.
All right.
About here.
Yeah.
Here?
Yeah, that looks
All right,
good.
cool.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right.
Nice.
Well, welcome back to Jeff and Jace. Here we are again.
We are.
Jeff still not here.
No.
We had a few weeks of off. It seems like
Inadvertently
yeah.
and advertently.
Yeah, I mean we do the every other week, and then we kind of just
We didn't do
didn't
one.
do one.
You know what? I feel great about it.
I'm not super sad
Because we released a Cooking with
Yeah,
Colin.
you guys had a new episode.
and
of
we
Cooking
took a
Out.
break. Sometimes you need a break.
Yeah, it was almost like spring breakish time.
That's true. It
So-
was. Technically, that was what I was going to post on Facebook, is that we're on spring break right now, and then I never posted anything, so.
Nope.
So everyone was
we're-
like, "Where's the episodes?"
Nobody
And
was
by
like
everyone,
that.
everyone, I mean, I think like one high school guy said, "Oh, it was Benea."
Oh. Dude, hey, quick shout out to Benea.
Yeah, faithful
you
viewer.
are our greatest fan at the moment.
Besides
I mean,
maybe
come on.
Joe Hendrickson
That's
out in
true.
Oregon.
But both of them have bought shirts, so I don't know which
There you
one
go.
puts them over the edge. But yeah, Joe Hendrickson and Benea Newhall, you guys are the best. Thanks
Shout
for
out.
watching the show
Yeah.
and keeping it alive.
That's our viewership right there.
It is. Those
Thankful.
the 30 views are those two guys refreshing it 15 times each.
We're gonna get some views.
I've actually considered just like having a monitor up somewhere that's just playing Jeff and Josh
just to get
constantly
some
on a
more-
loop, just so it like.
Actually,
But
gets
I feel like that's kind of cheating the system if we actually want to monetize. So, and we could have our monetization removed if it did get monetized, and I kept doing that. So,
Oh.
Exactly.
100p. Not gonna do that. Anyways,
But definitely did that last week.
well, that was
That
for
was-
science
it
and
was for
Danny.
That was for
Yeah, it
science.
was for a computer.
Yeah,
Oh, cool.
he had to test a computer. So,
Yeah.
what else are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Exactly.
Throw on Jeff.
I
and
could
Josh.
play something else on YouTube, or I could play our show on YouTube.
Yeah.
Thank
Might as
you.
well go with our show.
Obviously.
Well,
Anyways.
yeah, Nathan, you're filling in for Jeff again.
I am.
You say that every week, and every week it's true.
I'm glad you're not lying every week. Appreciate that.
Austin, you're here
I am.
doing tech stuff, but also just sitting here right now.
Indeed.
And repping friend of the show, Lane
Lane
Norberg's
Norberg, Under the
shirt.
Trees. Guys, if you haven't listened to that EP yet, check it out.
And Me the
Yes.
Prodigal, that's a
Ooh,
great
that's
such a
song
good
that
song.
just
he
dropped.
played Me the Prodigal on our show.
Yep.
Then
Yeah.
he got it recorded and put out there too.
I'd like
so.
to think he's where he is now because of our show.
Me too.
Definitely.
I'd like to think that. I don't think it's true.
But yeah, check Lane Norberg out.
Yeah.
sometime.
Hey, swipe up if you want to see that.
Swipe up. Is that how that works?
No, actually, that doesn't work on YouTube.
On YouTube?
No. I don't know what that does on YouTube. Anyways, hey, you know what? We haven't even introduced our guest yet. We're here.
The three of us are just talking.
with the illustrious and talented Ethan Olson. Thank you for joining us. You were one of, I think, Austin and my oldest friends. Probably.
Yeah, man, we go back a long ways.
Like
And
way back.
I feel like I've just known Ethan. I don't know if we ever actually got introduced. It's just like,
yeah, we
that's Ethan, and I know who he is.
same social circles.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
So that's how we know each other.
Yeah. No, he's just a generally dapper dude. The happiest headstone setter I've ever met.
Yep.
I should get that on a shirt.
You should.
You should.
If you don't know what a
because-
headstone is, that's where the graves are.
Yeah, I think people know headstones are, Josh.
Well, I don't know.
I guess that's true. I don't
You
know.
have like a junior higher watching this.
That's true. Death is real, folks. But anyways, Ethan, I actually had something specific I wanted to ask you about today. So you just got back from North Carolina.
I did.
Which, by the way, I didn't realize that the experiment was in North Carolina. For some reason, I thought it was in California this entire time. Every time you described it to me, probably because you said there was a beach there, and I went, California?
It's the only you can't have a
North
beach if you're not in
Carolina's-
California.
Yeah, North Carolina is not on the coast.
For
or
some
anything.
reason, I always imagine it as landlocked, though. North Carolina.
Really?
I don't know why. It's one of just like the Tennessee, Oklahomas in my
Oh,
mind.
it's
It's
li-
like
okay.
in that.
I don't think you can group Tennessee. Well, I mean, they're both in the South.
Dude, the South
Say-
is just one big
It's
honey
not.
pot in my head.
I
It's like
completely
Winnie the Pooh's honey
strongly
pot
disagree with that.
of just mishmash. Who knows what you're gonna get?
You're gonna get good
You-
sweet tea and
You
chicken.
might get a Carolina. You might get a Tennessee. Anyways,
and it's all just as sweet, like honey.
exactly. But anyways, this event you went to though is an event. It's a pretty. I mean, I'd heard of it before, and I don't even follow dancing really at all. And you were one of 3 people who have made it into this event from Montana. So, do you want to talk
Wow.
about that a little bit?
That's big time.
Sure. I mean, like, basically, long story short, The Balboa Experiment's a 4-week-long training event where they rent this great big old mansion out on the coast. You're real isolated. You got crappy internet. You got wild horses. You got four-wheel drive vehicles driving on the beach in front of the house. It's kind of weirds you out if you're not used to that.
Like ATVs?
No, like we're talking Jeeps.
Oh,
we're talking
cool.
Humvees. Like
Heck yeah.
it's a 2-lane road, and then if you want to actually quote unquote party on the beach, you do it in the middle of the road, like the middle of the beach, and the cars drive around you.
Oh,
That's cool.
all right.
I know. First time I saw that, I was actually pretty shocked because, again, California, you're not allowed to take your cars out there most of the time.
Right.
In
Anyway,
North Carolina, you just do what you want.
it's a lot. Dude, they have brew-throughs.
Oh, where you drive through.
It's a drive-through alcohol store.
What?
What could possibly go wrong?
You're not gonna have any problems with like any driving related alcohol things.
All right. So we've established it's a party state. So what do you do at the experiment?
Well, all right. So you go over there. Your class is a squad of about 30 people, and you're assembled from all over the globe. You send in applications months before the event happens, and your applications, they change a little bit per year, but long story short, it's generally some sort of questions about your ethos, your relationship with dance, what you're trying to get out of dance, your personal goals, like, studying the old timers, the original dancers. Are you wanting to get into DJing? Are you really working on pure bow stuff or bow swing or partner connection and that sort of thing? They want to know a bit about your personality, your sleeping habits, your dietary requirements, what events you've been to. They've sometimes asked questions like, who have you taken private lessons from? How many hours did you take said private lessons from? What comps have you been in? How did you place in those comps? Like, they get kind of in your face.
Okay.
And the reason being is because I've been a total of 4 times now, and all I can successfully derive from each of those weeks is that they're trying to create a squad of 30 who will train really well together. Like, you have similar goals, you have similar personalities, and you can really like bond into a big family unit and just work.
Okay.
So that gets to the point of the experiment itself. It's a training event. It's a learning event.
Interesting. And do you know why they call it the experiment?
Because it was an experiment when it was founded. Like, I've heard just rumors of like its beginning. So like, I'm not an official historian on it, but from what I remember was that David Ream, the founder, just went to some big Balboa events and just posted pictures like, have you heard of the experiment? Or want to try the experiment? And like, was trying to just kind of work a little like secret hype up for it or something like that. And people were like, oh, I don't know, I'll go check that out. And that ended up becoming the first week of the experiment. And he just tried it on a whim. He was trying to create a higher end product for people who really wanted to dig into their dancing. Because, most dance workshops, they try to cater to everybody. And consequently, though, like the people who really just are like, I want to train for 6 hours, or I want to nerd out about DJing for 6 hours or whatever the heck, they'll only get like 2 hours of that, or maybe 4. They can't do it like for an entire day or for an entire week.
Gotcha.
So he's like, let's create this more targeted product
Sure.
to sell to the people who really want to dig in.
So so you're saying the problem with a normal dance workshop is that you kind of tend to swing towards the lower end just because that's like you get dragged down by those people who are maybe not as motivated or don't know as much even.
Yeah, or and to be honest with you, it also comes down to a lot of what different people want out of dance. Like most people are like, gamers call them filthy casuals or whatever.
Yeah. Sure.
But I mean, like
I don't understand.
most people in dance want to, they want to go have fun. They want to go hang out with their friends. They want a good time, but they're not really like, I want to spend half an hour nerding out about how my left hand stretches relative to my partner in this one specific instance.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd tend more towards the previous camp. So glad they rounded all you up in North Carolina. Okay, so it's a 1 week program.
It is. The event is 4 weeks, so there are 4 different groups of 30 that get to participate. And when you get your application letter, they're just like, you send in your application.
And then they say, here's your week.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get accepted. Like, I have no idea if I get to go back again. I hope so. I'm going to try again, like always. But if you get that letter, it's the best freaking feeling. It's like, yes,
So
I'm going back.
Do you know how many people apply to this?
I don't. That's one of those things they're actually really tight-lipped about, like who they let in or how many applicants they get or anything like that. They'll just say things like, like for the 10th anniversary, which was last year, they're like, we just hit a record number, and then all of us are sweating bullets like, oh crap, does that mean we get to go? Oh no.
Gotcha.
You know?
Interesting. So, and the other thing that I think is pretty incredible is that you and your sister are 2 of the 3 from Montana who
Yeah.
made it.
Wow.
That's pretty incredible.
Yes, it is.
So I guess that kind of leads me to the next question I wanted to ask, which is how did all of this start, right? Because you and your sister are both interested in it. How did you two find dance? Because I remember when we were kids, it was not about dance. It was about fish. Fish was your life. And you had like 100+ gallon aquarium in your house that was like breaking the floor. So explain to me how you go from fish to Balboa.
it's a natural transition. You just get into sushi, and then you meet more artsy people.
It actually makes sense.
I hate that makes sense.
No. Okay, so I saw it. Okay, I'll just give you my origin story real quick.
Okay.
My origin story. It's like you're a superhero.
We'll do this Marvel style, you know. Because I hated dance when I was a kid.
Like a comic
Like
sans thing for this one.
No, don't make me do any edits.
Comic pop, whatever it's called.
No.
but like when I was 12, I was scared of dancing something fierce. Like you couldn't make me do it. By the time I was 16, I was finally forced, quote unquote, to go by like my sister, my family, a bunch of friends like Lane, Tinpin, Adam, June Forte. They all hopped on. They're like, dude, you got to go to the Trinity Church Ball. You got to do this. So I went and I was like, where has this been my whole life? This is so much fun. Oh my goodness. So I became a trainer. Next time I went, so second time there, I see a couple doing dancing that isn't choreographed. And I'm like, that should be impossible. How the heck do 2 people know how to dance with each other without any pre-agreed upon like choreography? So I'm like, I walk up to them, I'm like, what are you doing? And they're like, we're doing Lindy Hop. And I'm like, well, what's that? And they're like, it's swing dancing. Came out of New York back in like the, late 20s, early 30s, that kind of time frame. I'm like, I have found my passion. Like it was one of those instant like life-altering moments where I have to go do this. So I spent 2 years hunting down where to find it. Like found it finally up at MSU, started doing it, started learning. And then there's this real quiet gal named Sarah Kramer who I talked at basically for like 6 months. Like she was just quiet back then, And so one day she kind of comes up to me and she's like, so I want to learn this dance Balboa and no one here really wants to practice it with me. And like, yeah, I want to learn it. And I'm like, is that a swing dance? And she's like, yes. And I'm like, I'm all in. Let's do this. Huzzah! So we basically just messed around. She'd taken a class a few years back. We had YouTube, but we weren't that good. Then Emerald City Shuffle happened in Seattle. We went over there. That was our first big workshop. That's the first time we got to see like good Balboa dancers in person. And I was like, whoa, this is like the next moment. It was like, I like swing dancing, but this is even better. Like Lindy Hop was my first love. Balboa is who I want to be in a committed relationship with.
Okay. Yep.
Interesting description.
Well, like at this point, I have spent about $33,000 on swing dancing.
Are you serious?
Yes.
And that's in terms of just like going to workshops.
That's
and
hotel
Just
rooms,
traveling.
food, outfits, shoes, private lessons, dance workshops, airplane tickets.
To be clear, though, you've made money teaching lessons, though.
Yes.
So you're not completely in the hole.
Well, it's true. I
don't know
Just
if you've
slightly
made.
in the hole.
to be honest with you, it's not one of those things where I'm going to pursue the teaching end of it enough to compensate myself for it.
Right.
It's more of like, yeah, like I sell private lessons. I teach group classes. I'm a mercenary dancer at the moment. Like, hire me, I'll show up and dance type thing.
Sure.
But it's more of those things where I have loved it so much that I don't like, it doesn't even bother me that like $8,000 was what I spent last year alone. Mm-hmm. It doesn't bother me. It's like, that's something I look forward to doing.
Sure. I mean, and to be fair, like if you think about other people's hobbies and passions, right? Like,
True.
I mean, I'm sitting here
Yeah, looking.
looking at my camera and my computer, so it's all relative. I feel like, and, like there's some people who are really into skiing, and that
True.
you can sink a lot of money into that really fast. So,
Oh yeah.
but that's also impressive. Just I don't know. I just feel like it's one thing to be enthusiastic about something, but then to just like book trips to cities
Yeah.
and then go to all these workshops. That's pretty cool. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, it's one of those things where like, like we've known each other for a while. Have you noticed that if I ever get anything, I just go freaking like all in.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Or you
Do this.
either you completely ignore something because you're not interested at all, or
Yeah.
you were the most passionate person in the world about it.
I'm like a switch that way.
I appreciate that. I've learned a lot from you about random stuff that I would have never, that I was vaguely aware of. You know, like I knew about swing dancing because we were in the same social circles at the time and all those people were really into it. But I was just like, okay, I'm aware that this exists, but I don't know much about it.
Yeah.
So break down the difference between, because here's my understanding. You got swing dancing, which is a large family.
It is.
And then Lindy Hop and Balboa are two different types of swing dancing.
Yes.
What's the difference there?
All right, a fast breakdown of this. Kids didn't have YouTube in the 1930s, but pop music was still pop music. Like the swing dancing was, swing music, syncopated jazz, that was coming into its own, and the whole country was loving it. But the kids in one high school in California were dancing different from the kids in another high school, let alone the kids in New York. So that's why we have different styles. Lindy Hop was very big, very loud, very open. We believe it came out of the Charleston when all of a sudden two people were like, what happens if we only hold onto each other's hands but continue to kick our legs all over the place? Lindy Hop.
Okay.
Air steps came out of that because it's a big open dance. They're like, why don't we start flinging each other in the air like gymnasts? Lindy Hop.
Okay.
Balboa. Its origins are a little bit harder to trace because the very first generation of them died before we could get history out of them. It's their younger siblings who we got the history out of predominantly, if I'm remembering my history from Bobby White correctly. But anyway, it's a much more intimate dance. It's nicknamed hugging and shuffling. You're basically in full, if I'm standing perfectly vertical, like with correct posture, like I'm a soldier or something, my partner would come along and hug my right side. So it's a full body hug to hug connection. And then from there you dance. So there's specific ways you want to hold your feet so you don't step on each other. There are ways you want to communicate either through your back or through your core muscles so that you actually move together at the exact same timing. And the pulse is a lot lighter. So if I was going to give a really generic statement, like Lindy Hop is the showcase dance, like big, loud, exciting, Hollywood, like film that thing. Balboa it's the intimate dance. It's the dancer's dance. It's the dance where the partner you're dancing with matters more than anything else, even the people watching.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So where does country swing fit into all of this?
Country swing is how do I want to put this? It's the bastard child that stole from everyone else and created its own unique thing and said, I am here.
Okay.
when did that arise?
That's hard to track because it's that's definitely like a folk dance.
Okay.
It just originated with a bunch of teenagers going, hey, let's figure out how to move to this.
Okay.
And say most of the aerials that you do in country swing dancing, they were Lindy aerials
They're
first.
Lindy Hop stuff?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So it took from there. East Coast swing was basically Lindy Hop minus all the 8 count moves. So it stole from that. I have no doubt it stole stuff from West Coast swing over the years, which is what happened to Lindy Hoppers when they were like, let's dance to more modern, like unce, 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 unce music.
Okay.
Stuff like that. You see influences from all kinds of art forms in country dancing.
Sure.
So it basically just stole from everyone else. Is like, huzzah, now we're here.
Fair enough.
Because that's the only dancing I know.
It's the Robin Hood of dancing.
So I'm like, this works for me.
It's the Robin Hood of dancing.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy dancing, Josh?
I like country swing, mostly because being from Montana, if you go to a wedding, there's going to be country music.
It's so true.
So I'm like, well, at least I can dance to it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And,
Dude, yes.
But really, I don't dance unless I'm at a wedding, mostly.
Okay.
So
You like to cut a rug
I'll,
at a wedding?
Yeah, I'll cut a rug at a wedding.
Okay.
And then just kind of at home, dink around stuff.
Nice.
So I have to ask you,
Okay.
what if you were going to describe your ethos pertaining to dancing,
Okay.
Hold on. What's ethos?
Yeah.
like
Definition of ethos.
what motivates you?
What motivates me?
What is this is fun and this is why?
What motivates me with dancing? I don't necessarily. I think it's more just like when you're celebrating a wedding and everyone else is dancing. It's not like, oh, everyone else is doing it, so I'll just reluctantly do it. But it's like it is a fun large group activity at weddings. I think. I think I'm not as big on weddings if there's not dancing at them.
Wow.
And,
Not to shame people who didn't have dancing at their wedding.
Hey, Joe. Come on.
I wasn't even at your wedding.
Savage.
You're in
I
California.
was. No, I just think it's like, man, it's something to do at a wedding to interact with other people and,
Yeah,
have some fun. So,
I get you.
yeah, that's really all it is.
Ah,
I'm not passionate about dance by any means.
No,
so.
it's okay. It's more like a question that I like to ask just because everybody relates to it a little bit differently.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, I mean, for me, man. Well, again, it's why I gravitated toward Balboa. I love the intimacy of it. I love the partner connection of it.
Sure.
I love being able to take Sarah, because I dance with her a whole lot. I can literally tell what mood she's in as she walks into the room. I love being able to do that. Or like that'll change how we dance or relate to each other within the dance. Because as you start to get better, as you start to get to more toward, and I almost hate using words like higher levels because it sounds arrogant and stuff like that. But when you get to the point where like it's more of an art and less of an execute moves, it's more of a I feel like this, so I move like that.
Sure.
It becomes a back and forth play between the partners. So like I'll maybe the music's going ba da ba ba da 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 ba da ba ba da 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 ba da 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 da. Maybe I'll interpret that with two sets of one thing, and then I change for that third shift where the music was different. But maybe she goes one thing, a different thing, and then instead of going along with the different thing that I added, like if I ask for a linear motion, like please go down a line, she'll go down the linear motion, but she'll intentionally rotate her hips a lot, which means that our partner connection now contains rotational momentum, even though we're technically moving linearly, which means that my next thing that I do should probably play off of that rotational momentum. So
Wow. That's way more knowledge about dance than I've got. I've got the execute moves, all three of them, over and over and over again for a 5-minute song. I'm like, this is lasting way too long.
but that's why it doesn't last too long. Like
Sure.
once you get to that point, because then the song starts dictating
What
all
you're
this
gonna do.
craziness.
Yeah.
Or heck, even nerding about little things like at the experiment this last time, there's this exercise called Mystique, where you're partnered with someone of the same role, so like a lead and a lead, and then a follow and a follow, and then you get together in a squad of 4, 2 of each role, and you're supposed to copy the person you've been paired with of your own role. So I was paired with this tall guy out of Seattle named Vasu, and he is, tall, lanky, a lot like me, but he is the opposite of me in how he moves his body. I'm large linear stretches, big arm movements, lots of because I don't know, I get excited easily.
Okay.
He is calm, he is focused, he's calculating. Every move looks very precise, and that's why he can do things like ask for a stop where both people just stop right on the dime instantly without it being harsh, which is so mind-boggling to me. I was like, dude, how do you do that? And then he explained, well, you know how you start asking for pause before you get to the pause? I'm back here on one step and I'm asking for the pause in here, and then we hit it. It's like hitting the brakes slowly on your car.
Sure.
He hits it as he feels his partner switching her body weight onto the next foot. So she'll switch her body weight onto the next foot, and the moment he feels her put her foot down, that's when he hits it, so that they can hit a hard stop together without it feeling harsh. And I was like, mind blown.
Interesting.
So,
That's a cool way of learning too.
Yeah.
To like force you to take on somebody
Right.
else's style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's really interesting.
Dude, that's a fun exercise. Or
Yeah.
or even like another one we did. Like, okay, so like there were 16 follows there at the event, and then in one of the events I had to dance with every single one of them, and we called the event Trading Tyrants. So you go into the partnership, one of you is the tyrant, quote unquote, and the tyrant dictates how they want to connect. I want more connection in the hand. I want you to wrap further around my back. I want less further around my back. I want more in a V, stuff like that. And then you dance half a song like that, or a whole song sometimes. And then you'd swap who the tyrant is. And that was incredibly educational, because how many other times do you have someone literally say, this is what is most comfortable to me? And then like half of them, some of them I've never even met before. Some of them I had. They're from all over the country, all over the world. One gal was a gal from Singapore living in London, now participating in the experiment. I mean, just stuff like that is like, dude, the nerd level is intensifying.
Interesting. So
Word.
one other question then is like, I mean, I know there's a swing presence here in Bozeman,
Yeah.
but like if you were to pick another city to move to because of the swing scene, where would you go?
That's really tough. Okay.
Caroline.
Would it be?
Actually, North Carolina, no. The experiment takes place there.
But it's not that
But it's
big
because the venue to host it was there.
Oh.
So
They're big on country swing because it's the South.
Right.
Well, actually,
Because
here's
it's part of Tennessee.
which is right next to the Bahamas.
Ooh. Which is in California.
I love geology. No, dude, that would be a tough call. New York would be an amazing spot because it's got a high concentration of really high-level dancers who train together. And by high concentration, I mean like it's got like 8 or 10 at least off the top of my head, and that's a large concentration for like top-level dancers in any one city. Then there's also Huntsville, which has probably the single best, like Huntsville, Alabama. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Huntsville, Alabama.
Yeah. If you want to do Balboa, it's got,
Also in Tennessee.
where they make rum.
I'm going to need to pull up a map here. Hold on. Continue. Huntsville.
Long story short, their social dancing is incredible because literally like half of their Balboa dancers there are experiment veterans.
Oh, wow.
So it's high caliber. You can really train
Figure out
together.
where Alabama's at.
And the people who run the scene are very, very like, they got their stuff together. It's the Pegburns, and they're just very good at it.
Gotcha.
And the third choice would be Orange County in California.
Oh, really?
Because they've got the Atomic Ballroom.
What's that? Oh, what is that? That sounds fun.
Atomic ballroom.
The Atomic Ballroom.
Sounds unsafe.
So they may have relocated by now. I haven't checked on their site in like 2 years. But when I went there, like 4 years ago now, it was this hideous old office building.
Nice.
But you step inside and it's a dancer's paradise. Like 400 dancers will hit the floor almost every single night of the week. And then they have swing nights like 2 or 3 nights a week. And the main ballroom is Lindy Hop. But then you go to the side and they've got 2 full-size, like half-size ballrooms with Balboa. And you go upstairs and it's blues and slow drag. So, and then you go to the kitchen area and they got cake, they got beverages for $1. I mean, like it's like a dance mecca that is beautiful on the inside and the exterior is just ugly.
There you go.
Okay. Fair enough. It's like a sleeper venue.
It's a sleeper venue, dude. Yeah.
Nice. I now know where Alabama is.
I'm glad you
you know
now figured that
It
out.
has a tiny amount of land that's on the water.
No
Like the
way.
bottom left tip of it.
Yeah, it's
left.
actually almost the Gulf, pretty much the Gulf of Mexico, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Found that out. And that North and South Carolina are both on the coast.
Yep. Yeah, both of them. Did you know Georgia's on the coast too?
No, hold on. What?
It's directly south of South Carolina.
Oh my gosh.
Do you know anything about the geography of the South?
No, I
Have you
know.
ever been in the South?
Okay, I've been to Georgia.
And you didn't know
And
there was
I've-
a coast there?
No, and I've been to Missouri and I've been to Kentucky.
I'm embarrassed. Did you know Louisiana's on the Gulf of Mexico? Besides looking at that
I
map?
did know that
Okay.
because I knew about their hurricane issues. That's my only. Okay, I feel stupid now, but
We're gonna do a future episode on like where's this state?
wow, dude, don't do that to me.
There's
am
only
so
50
bad.
you have to pick from. Did you know that Hawaii is actually not where it's at on a map?
It's in a little box that's kind of overlays part of California, right? Same with Alaska; they're pretty
That's right.
close together.
Yeah, they're actually right next to each other. Just very drastic changes in weather.
Yeah, I don't know why that is. Something to do with the northern lights being cold.
Yeah.
Definitely the Gulf Stream.
Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's something about that line from the boxes.
Please don't make me guess where a state is. I don't want to embarrass myself on this show more than I already have. Actually, what do I have to lose? It doesn't matter.
How many-
Anyways,
we've got Banana and Joe watching this anyway.
he knows
so-
I don't know anything about geography. Dude, the other day I spent way longer than I cared to admit trying to find Israel on a map.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I was bad.
That is embarrassing.
Because Luke just got back from the Middle East. He was
Right.
in
Some other countries.
United Arab Emirates.
Oh, very
He was
cool.
in
UAE.
Abu Dhabi and
Yeah.
Dubai.
That's cool.
And I was trying to find that in relation to Israel, and I couldn't do it.
Pretty sure those are just
I did
spendy
it.
dishes. Like at a restaurant.
It's
Can I
weird,
have an
though.
Abu Dhabi and a Dubai? And I'd like it medium rare.
I found out though that there's actually like the United Arab Emirates is like 7 kings
Yeah.
that
All
all
came together.
yeah, and it's just like this collection of 7 kings that all each run
Yeah.
one of these things. It's kind of cool.
That is cool.
I don't know.
And they
Anyways,
also have the tallest building in the world in Dubai. Did you know that?
yeah, but I can't remember what it's called now.
I can't remember either.
But we did at AED we did some signs in
Oh, okay.
in Dubai, so
Very
we've
cool.
had like Paul Nealon's been down there.
Yeah.
Check it out. It's really hot, my dude.
Yes. I mean, it's there like
Yeah.
Saudi Arabia and UAE's right here, right?
Yeah. And Luke was telling me even there, like, yeah, it gets hot.
Yeah.
Like it was their cooler season. It was like 90 degrees, and he was like,
Ugh.
it gets up to like 120s.
That's
And he was like,
miserable.
even there, just like no. And it's the whole thing where it's really hot, and then you go into any building and it's freezing because the AC is running, so you have to bring a jacket with you everywhere, and
Sure.
you look like an idiot, like in Singapore. And I was just like, this is, anyways.
Yeah.
We are way far off topic, but you were saying Orange County, I hear Huntsville, Alabama, and New York City.
Yeah.
New York City or somewhere
New
else?
York,
in
New
State?
York.
Okay.
The name's so nice, you say
They
it
named
twice.
it twice. The other name's Manhattan.
That's right.
Well, no, there's five boroughs.
What about the Bronx?
It's not just Manhattan.
That was an Office reference.
Was it really?
Yeah, when he's driving in New York once, he's like, New York, New York. The place so nice, they named it twice. The other name's Manhattan. You're like, Michael Scott.
I love that. That's hilarious. I don't remember that at all, but that's a great reference.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it, Josh.
I'm going to
But-
try to just slide The Office into everything. now.
You should. We need that in
Yeah.
our lives. But anyways, I think we're
We're pretty
creeping
out of
up on
time.
half an hour. But
Yeah.
thanks for coming on the show, Ethan. That was
Thank you
really
for having me.
interesting. It's cool to hear about that. Like, just, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in Bozeman that you don't always hear about, like
Right.
sending people to the experiment, which
Yeah.
is really cool. So Ethan's given me dance lessons in the past,
There you go.
which were very I mean, I don't even really like dancing very much, and I had a wonderful time. So
Sure.
if you're looking for dance lessons,
Huzzah.
call Ethan
Listen.
because he knows what he's talking about.
You'll get
He
some
does.
swing
And he's
dance.
a good teacher too, also, because I know a lot of times it's hard to teach people without being,
Yeah.
I don't know. I have trouble teaching people how to play drums because it's just like, it's something I innately know how to do.
Sure.
And I'm like, I don't
You
know
just-
how to explain this to somebody.
You just
Ethan's
rhythm it.
very good at it.
Just
so,
rhythm it. That's all you got to do.
Yeah. Anyways, talk to him. His phone number will be in the description, as well as a link to his PayPal, where you can help him sheetrock all the new houses he's buying. Anyways,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us. Let me think about the outro here. Oh, if you want to listen to this podcast elsewhere, you can do that on Google Play Music or Apple Podcasts. Man, Spotify. It's
Still
been
nothing.
it's been almost a year.
So
and
we're just not getting Spotify.
I don't think so. It's fine.
That's fine.
We don't need them.
If you want to watch this,
If you want to scrabble it on Last FM, you can do that. Don't worry about that. And if you want to buy a T-shirt or support the show, you can go to jeffandjosh.net. And
we have a dot. It is a dot net.
It is
right?
a .net. .com was taken.
Yep.
and
so-
we're definitely not a dot .org.
No, we are not organized here, so we have to go with the .net because it is on the internet. And so, yeah, you can go there. You can check out episodes of the podcast there, or you can click on the little shopping cart icon if you want to buy a T-shirt, support the show. Hey, guys, it's getting warm out, which means I can start screen printing again, which means I have some tasty designs in the works.
Ooh.
Madison's been drawing up some
Very cool.
mock-ups that I'm really excited about.
Nice.
So get ready for that. And I think that's all I have.
All right.
That was a
Ethan,
lot of
thanks again
fun.
for being on. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you for having me.
I appreciate it. And we will be here next time.
Ooh, yeah. Cool.
That was fun, Ethan.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I feel like we missed our opportunity with the website. We should have been .edu. Pretty educational.
I think you have
People
to
know where
actually-
Alabama is.